right, boys. We wanna attack some spreads.
Let's get into some spreads.
Audience, before you leave,
A lot of covers this week.
audience. It's not the same spread segment that it was last week. Again, if you know, you know, this episode does not exist to the public. But it's not the same spread segment it was last week. We heard your feedback.
Gotta get my back.
I'm a man. I can swallow my pride and I can bounce back. We heard your feedback. You did not like Saturday spreads. So we're coming at you with something just a little bit different here.
Just a touch.
We're coming at you with Spread to Spread, the segment where we go head to head against the spreads, trying to not only pick you guys winners this weekend from college football and the NFL this time around, but also trying to figure out who the king of picks here, who the king of spreads is here. And we each have 9 picks. We each have 9 picks across the board between college and NFL. And we're going to keep a head-to-head tally on these picks week to week. And we're going to find out at the end of the season who can really pick them. So without further ado, I introduce you guys spread to spread. How the records will work. Say Joe were to go on and have the best record this week, he would be 1-0-0. Say Zach were to get second, he would be 0-1-0. Say I were to get third, I would be 0-0-1. So it'll just be a 3-tiered ranking system. Each tier will tell you what ranking they've placed each week. And then at the end, it'll be a point system. We'll multiply those together and figure out our final score. But with that said, let's get to them. Zach, we'll have you do your picks first here.
I'll kick off, and I'm kicking off with the best team in the NFL, the Detroit Fighting Lions, to cover a 9.5 point. I like them against the Panthers. I think that offense is clicking really well. They get Jameson Williams back. They're going to look a lot better. They have a whole different dynamic coming. And the Panthers defense is shaky at best. And I believe that Bryce Young is still questionable going into this game. Especially if they don't have Bryce Young, that game's going to be a lot scarier. And I know I said this last week, but I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Kirby Joseph are both touted to come back this week, and they got a healthy O-line. I could go on for days about that game. Lions plus 9.5. Next game, kind of not really a bold one, but big cover. I like the Dolphins to cover the 10.5 point spread on the New York Giants. I think the New York Giants are one of the worst football teams in the NFL right now. That offense is abysmal. They don't have Saquon Barkley. I think Dolphins have quite a bounce back week this week against.
Also, not a happy family in that locker room right now.
Not happy. Not a lot good going for him. Brian Dable kind of showed his true colors on how he feels about Daniel Jones after that pick 6. I think Dolphins have a bounce back week after kind of getting embarrassed by the Bills. They come out and they just kind of stomp the Giants at home. Next one, I like Baltimore beating the Steelers. Sorry, Jay, I know you're a Steelers fan, but Baltimore is coming, and I think Lamar Jackson kind of puts up that he should be in a conversation for an MVP this game, and has a very good game against, I think, a very good defense, and shows that he can throw the football. And again, another offense that looks literally abysmal. And Kenny Pickett is also, I don't think he's playing this week. I don't know for sure on that.
He says he wants to. It's going to be a game time decision. He says he wants to. But that could also limit the team as well.
But either way, he still won't be 100%.
Yeah.
So my Siri just came on.
You got Bengals next?
What's going on? My Siri won't go away.
We can still hear you.
Okay.
You got Bengals?
Yeah, next game, Bengals, 5.5 points. I think they've got him covering the Jags. I think the Bengals kind of have a coming out party. That offense has another offense that has not looked good. 32nd in the NFL, actually. But I think Joe Burrow kind of gets things together. That offense starts clicking. They're due for something. And I think I do not like this Jacksonville Jaguars team. I think they're a lot shakier than what people are saying. Give me the Bengals -3.
Like it.
Next one is the Bengals against Cardinals. Sorry, I just said Jags. Bengals at Cardinals. Next one is the Bills at the Jags in London.
Yeah, it was in London technically.
This is the one London game, and I think the Bills. I really think the Bills run away with this game. they dominated what we thought was one of the best teams in the NFL last week. They kind of dominate this one here again, and I got them covering that 5.5 point spread. Josh Allen comes out and he shows out.
You want a confidence boost in this Bills game? Our computer has the Bills minus 10.5. Metrically, they dominate this Jags team.
Honestly, if this was a 10.5 point spread, I think I'd still take a cover.
What do you got next?
This last NFL game I got, and Joe, this is against you, and Ethan, if you saw Tuesday night. They are big fans of this Chiefs game, but I like the Vikings I like the Vikings plus 5.5. I think they win this game outright, but if they lose, they're not losing by more than 5.5.
Like it.
I think Kirk Cousins is showing that he is a top quarterback in this league with his passing yards, and Jettas is obviously one of the best receivers in this league. And I think we're seeing that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are human, and that offense is not nearly as good as what we thought. I think they kind of get it together this week against a shaky defense, but I think the Vikings still pulled out. Moving on to college here.
So you got 3 college picks now.
3 college games. This one I'm kind of surprised that it's only a 2.5 point favorite. I got Alabama at Texas A&M, and I got Alabama covering that minus 2.5. That Alabama offense is scary. I think that they kind of show out this week, and they show that they're still Alabama, and they don't play around in the SEC, and they show that they still want to win that SEC. And I think they take Texas A&M kind of to the shed and take them.
You got 2 big spreads now.
2 big spreads. Ohio State and Michigan both covering a 19.5 point spread. I think this is your right here is your battle for the Big Ten, and these 2 teams are going to prove that they are competing for this national championship, and they have statement victories against Maryland and Minnesota here. Ohio State, obviously their offense looks scary good, and JJ McCarthy is one of the best quarterbacks in the country at Michigan, and I think they run away with these games.
Those are your 9?
That's my 9.
Confident in those?
I'm confident in them.
I like it.
A lot of spreads covering, but I'm going with them.
I'm going to go pretty quick through these. I got my 9 up now. I got 5 college games first. Red River rivalry, Oklahoma versus Texas. Oklahoma looks really, really good in this one. Metrically, they're not as tested as Texas, but it's an emotionally high game, the most emotionally high game in college football every year, other than possibly the big game, which is Michigan-Ohio State. I think there's no way Oklahoma loses this game by a touchdown. It's been close every single year. Give me Oklahoma plus 6.5. Fresno State, they are taking on Wyoming. They have dominated the Mountain West so far this season. They are currently 4-1 against the spread. Give me that 5.5 point spread against Wyoming. You are on the road, but still. Arizona plus 21.5. Arizona is 2-2 against the spread so far this season, but they're 2-0 in spreads that are 20 points or more. USC does not cover the spread well. I believe they're 1-3 or 1-4 against the spread so far. Give me Arizona to cover that 21.5. Zach, I'm going against you here. I got Maryland plus 19.5 against Ohio State. Maryland's putting up over 35 points per game right now. Ohio State is 1-3 against the spread. They're not good in big spread games. Maryland's putting up a lot of points. I don't think they win that game, but I do think they have something to prove in the Big Ten. They're not talked about as much as Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. Give me that 19.5. Maryland are they at home or are they on the road? They're on the road at Ohio State, but either way, give me that 19.5. Virginia Tech plus 23.5. I know you're playing Florida State, but Florida State has not blown out anybody this season. Every game has been close. Virginia Tech has also been fairly good against the spread. They're not good against the spread on the road, but still 23.5. I don't see Virginia Tech losing this game by 4 big scores. I just don't see that happening. Give me the Hokies in that one. On to my NFL picks. I got 4 of them here. Texans plus 2.5 taking on the Falcons. I believe our computer had the Texans as a -1 in this game.
Yep.
I'm trusting that the Texans have looked phenomenal. CJ Stroud, 1,200 yards, 0 interceptions so far this season. Dude's looking really good. Give me the Texans to cover that one. Lions -9.5. I thought this was a no-brainer along with Zach. The Panthers haven't looked great. They've got some injury questions. Defense hasn't looked good. Lions are going to be in that backfield, terrifying whatever quarterback is back there all game. So give me the Lions to cover that 9.5. Are you at home in that one? Yes. Give me the
Yep,
Lions.
it's in Detroit.
Give me the Lions by 2 touchdowns. I am going against you on another one here, I believe, Zach. I'm taking Cardinals plus 3.5 against the Bengals. The Cardinals are at home. Our computer, once again, put this as a 1-point favorite for the Cardinals. Home field advantage was factored into that. But Cardinals were favored under our metrics. Cardinals have looked really, really good the last 2 weeks. They're improving tremendously. And the Bengals still have not looked great. Yes, they could be due for their blow-up game. I get that angle, but my brain goes the other way. Give me the Cardinals to at least cover that one. 49ers minus 3.5. I think you're at home. You're in prime time. Dak doesn't do good in prime time. 49ers are perfect against the spread. 49ers are scoring on, I believe, over 80% of their offensive drives. They're scoring on 3 out of every 4 drives, so at least over 75%. They have not, so in 80, I think it was 83% of their drives, they have not turned the ball over or punted. I mean, that is insane. They're leaving 83% of their drives with some form of points. They're scoring exactly 30 a game right now. And this 49ers team is too good. You got to beat the man to be the man. Give me the 49ers to cover that 3.5 at home. Those are my picks. I am extremely confident in those. I'm excited to see how this goes. Joe, give us yours.
All right. We're going to start off with a Texas Tech team that has been up and down this year. I believe they're 2-3, not looking great. Also, Baylor, 2-3, I think, not having a great time. They are in Waco for this game. I am picking against Baylor again. I know it bit me last week because, UCF, I had a lot of faith in. They did not play the game that I thought they were going to play. I think this Texas Tech team is better offensively than that UCF team is. This Baylor defense is still abysmal to me. I like Texas Tech 1.5 covering that spread. Up next, I got Notre Dame, and I'm going to keep riding this Notre Dame team. I know how much Zach does not like it.
Get out of here.
He professes, Rudy was offsides.
Rudy was offsides, baby.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. You can live with that every day of your life. I think this Notre Dame team, I've been saying it the last couple episodes. I think this Notre Dame team is destined to potentially do something this year. I think Marcus Freeman has these boys doing the right things, playing the game the right way. I think Louisville is a good team, and they have had a good couple games stretch here, but I think Notre Dame walks away with it at least by a touchdown. So give me that 6.5 spread. Up next, we got North Carolina versus the Cuse. I refused to pick against Syracuse last week because I don't like picking the Syracuse-Clemson games. Those games are just not that appealing to me. They're always weird. Something always happens. But this North Carolina team with Mac Brown, I think that they are very good offensively. Drake May is looking like a Heisman hopeful down there in Tar Heel country. I think North Carolina runs away with this. I think it's definitely +8. Give me 2 scores on that one for sure. Up next, I'm picking Marshall again. This is an outright win. NC State has looked up and down. They have not been able to find their identity. I believe that this Marshall team has an identity and are playing the right way and playing the game.
1 second. So Joe has 2 money line picks on his board. So for these to be winners, the upsets have to happen, not just the cover. I do love the 2 picks though, but the upsets have to happen.
I'm picking Marshall to upset NC State. Marshall hasn't lost a game this year. Who knows if they will?
Why are you so high on Marshall this year? What's going on?
Because they've been good.
The Thundering Herd, man. I like these small schools winning games. I don't know.
Joe likes his Disney movies. You got the Jets next.
Exactly. Up next, I got the Jets 1.5 against the Broncos. I think Zach Wilson has found something against that Chiefs team that he will be able to emulate against this Broncos defense that Justin Fields cut up and made look not that good, for 3.5 quarters. I think Zach Wilson comes in with confidence. I think this defense does not let Russ cook. Russ is doing no cooking in this game. Give me Jets 1.5. They're definitely covering it.
Jets country,
Chiefs,
let's fly.
Chiefs 4.5 over the
There we go.
Vikings. They're playing in Minnesota. I know Zach has picked the Vikings in this game, but I'm not keen on giving up on the Chiefs yet. Their defense has been a little banged up. They've missed a couple players. I think Nick Bolton was out for a game or two, and he's a huge stud in the middle of that defense. I think the offense with Mahomes is now taking accountability for how bad the passing offense has been, which I think is huge. I think they're going to get fired up after that game that they should have lost to the Jets.
There
I'm
it
not
is.
going to sugarcoat it. Should have lost to the Jets. I think they're going to be fired up. They're going to go into Minneapolis and win that ball game 4.5. Give me at least a touchdown on that one.
Love it.
Up next, I got the Colts
Hendricks.
covering the 2.5 spread against the Titans. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts end up winning this game. I think the Colts are a better team at this point. Their defense is playing better. Their offense is actually looking like a decent offense. Anthony Richardson, in his short time, is playing well and making this Colts team look pretty good. The Titans offense, we still have no idea. Ryan Tannehill does not look like the Ryan Tannehill of old. And Derrick Henry is, having a little bit more of a resurgence. So I think the Colts cover that 2.5. I wouldn't be surprised if they win. Up next, I got the Ravens 4.5 over the Steelers. Zach has already picked this game. I completely agree. I think this Ravens defense is going to get after Kenny Pickett all game. They need some help with that offense. Matt Canada has no idea what the heck he's doing in Pittsburgh.
Like Brian Ferentz.
It's looking real bad, and I think Lamar. I agree with Zach. I think Lamar has a good looking outing for sure. Possible MVP candidate, this year. So he needs a good game to put himself in the actual conversation, and I think he has a good opportunity to do it against the Steelers. And my last,
I love this one. Love this pick.
We talked about it in the Tuesday episode a little bit, but I am going to take Washington State to not only cover, but to upset, or it's not even an upset. I don't think it's an upset. I think Washington State is a better team, and at every aspect of the game. I think they're still out to prove something this year. Give me Wazoo, give me the Cougars over the Bruins. I think this is Washington State's Pac-12 to lose at this point.
Washington State and Oregon State versus the world right now, baby.
How dare you bet against Lonzo Ball?
I love those picks. I love the confidence. I want to point out that as far as our NFL picks go, our underdog spreads, the plus spreads, the computer spreads agreed with us on all of our plus spreads except for, I think, one. So we'll see how those go. We'll see if our computer is accurate.